I'd like to call the meeting to order, 6 o'clock, the select board meeting of December 8th. And I wonder if somebody has a agenda that I could look at while I'm...
Oh, where's the folder? It's right there.
Is there agendas in it?
Sorry, Jimmy was in and I forgot to.
Oh, so there are no agendas.
I have one.
Thanks, thank you.
Well, I've got one.
Okay.
As long as we don't change too much.
Meeting's called to order, and any announcements to make?
Oh, changes to
Oh,
agenda.
changes to agenda? Do we have a change to agenda? Aren't we appointing someone?
Well, I think we
think
have
they're
those
all
already
on.
on them, right? Those are already on the agenda?
There's 3 appointments on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
There's one thing, Lance, Toby on the highway crew.
Yes.
I can handle that during the town report if you prefer.
Well, let's do that. This is the change.
Oh, announcements? Did I just miss
Announcements, yeah.
First Sunday Farmers Market is this coming Sunday in this very space from 11 to 3. Food, crafts, lunch, music, community
Which
vibe.
space?
Right here,
Space.
this Sunday, 11 to 3.
Yeah.
Great, any other announcements?
Just was wondering if about change to the agenda, we were gonna move the budget stuff to,
Is that something you still want to do?
yeah, I can't do this.
All right, so
Oh, God.
we are going to remove, you're gonna do your report still?
I'll.
Or do you want nothing?
reports in. I just wanna make sure we get the MCRF is correct.
So let's take the treasurer's report and the budget and move that.
Yeah.
So we will be,
Do we want to move the MCRF to the top?
No, go ahead, I wanna, we can leave that, fine, but.
announcements?
Yeah, any more announcements?
Michael.
Emergency Management Director Michael Billingsley. Next Thursday, a week from this Thursday, will be the kickoff for the introduction of our long-awaited Great Brook Scoping Study. This is an enormously important study that has been talked about for almost a year, and it will be our opportunity to meet with the engineers, the planners, and the state representatives who are pushing to have us understand the Great Brook and how it behaves. And we really want public input. So this is a public meeting here in the town hall next Thursday night at 7 p.m.
Is that the 18th?
Is that
A week from this Thursday?
a week from this Thursday? Yes. The 18th, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
What time?
7.
Anything else? Public comment, I guess that's public comment.
Well, no, that's the announcements.
I have a public comment to read on behalf of someone who can't be here
Okay,
tonight.
you
Go
need to
ahead.
use the microphone.
I'm letting you know that I have a public comment. Here we go. Andrea Stefani on Gray Road wanted me to offer this public comment. Message is short. The whole width of dirt roads need to be sanded well, not just a track for one car in the middle, especially on rounded dirt roads with narrow curves and hills. It's not safe with only one middle strip of sanding. And please don't let us sit snowed in all day long during a storm. Thank you. Andrea, 303 Gray Road.
Thank you.
And just a
Son.
Just a reminder to Andrea and others that there is a report form for our road crew. So if it's something like I'm snowed in and I can't get out, something's inaccessible, filling out the form will be the fastest way to get help on the day of. Also, if you have salting issues or other things. So please use the form. It gets it all in one place so that our town staff can manage it in one place.
And to follow up on that, if you're expecting a delivery of gas or oil or something, if you could give the town road crew an alert through that site, they can work to get that done for you. Okay, So did we want to go right to treasurer's report?
I think we're at clerk's report.
Or
We
clerk?
took the treasurer's report out.
Oh, it's, okay. Fran?
Brent Tillman, Town Clerk. Just want to give a review from 50,000 feet of coming town meeting, March 3rd. In terms of elected positions, there will be 2 positions open on the select board, one for 2 years, one for 3 years, 3 cemetery commissioners. Again, I think their terms are 3 years, 2 auditors for 1 year, 1 moderator, the delinquent tax collector, 1 school board seat is open for 1 year, 2, and there are also 2 potential bond votes. One, you've heard about, it's water, wastewater. There's actually documents in the folder regarding that one. And then there was and that's, I think, for $1 million. And then there'll be a bond offering of about $200,000 for a road project. And that will also be an article. Just in passing, obviously there'll be an article about town business via Australian ballot, which is something that I understand was discussed at the select board meeting. If someone can get me the language for that, is that not the case, or was reported in the town?
I don't,
First I've heard.
I think there was a short discussion as part of the, accessibility committee's report. There was a short discussion related to the accessibility committee's report. I don't think that the board has taken any action to add an article, but I think there are some folks in town that are interested in having an article. And there's obviously 2 ways to do that, which is one, the select board adds it as an article, and the second is that there's a citizen petition for it to be on the ballot, correct?
Correct. And I think that, I just read this, there was a post with somebody complaining about it on Front Porch Forum, saying that they had read in the Times Argus that the board had pushed that and stuff. So, okay, so that's inaccurate. But if there are any other articles, please try to let me know ASAP. I just like to try to organize the ballot and everything as soon as possible. One other thing, some good news, Lance Toby has passed the CDL test and now is fully fledged member of the road crew. Back in August, when I presented you, his hiring, I was so focused on paying the tuition and when the payback would be, I forgot to officially have the select board. Part of the whole deal with Lance was that his pay would go from $25 an hour, which is what it is prior to him passing the test. But we had indicated that once he passes the test, he would get the $28 an hour, which is what the position was advertised, thinking the person would have a CDL. I spoke with Josh about it. Plans have been made. It's not going to adversely affect the budget, but we'd like to have a motion to officially give Lance $28 an hour.
Yes, go ahead.
And if I recall correctly, there are some conditions upon this raise that he has to stay employed with the town for a certain period of time.
There is,
as I recall from that motion.
Well, just separating out the pieces. He will get, once he passes the test, he gets $28 an hour. However, if he leaves the town's employ within 2 years, he will owe the town money for the tuition.
For the tuition, right.
Correct.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's it.
I would move that we approve the raise to $28 an hour.
Okay.
I second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We have that.
Two other things briefly. The town has retained the services of a towing company because we've had issues with people not moving their cars. We do not want to tow anyone's car. We did really emphasize that in years past, towing one car solved the problem of people not moving their cars. We don't like to resort to this, but there were requests by both the constable and the road foreman to have a resource to go to. The expense, is considerable in terms of towing one car. I think it's about $300 or $350. I can't remember the exact figure. And then their storage is $85 a day. Now, obviously, if this is an abandoned car, that's a different thing, and we can have a discussion about whether it should be towed. But these are more people who just are, for whatever reason, don't get out of the way when they've been warned. We have placed warnings on cars, and once again, we're not interested in doing this, but we need the tool in our toolbox. So I think that's it.
Thank you. Is our town constable on?
Yes.
Here you are, Dan.
Yes, I am. Are you able to hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. So I see it's already on the agenda. As we discussed, send you some updated information on the no trespass policy after talking to Vermont League of Cities and Towns. Ongoing situation at 1735 Brook Road. I'm working with Michael Billingsley to set a time to meet with Mr. Lucier and kind of get that side of the story and see, without the town and other entities getting into a protracted legal battle in civil court, finding a solution that works for everyone involved. There's a number of different layers there, from zoning to tenancy to just so many different things. I'm going to try to find the easiest solution first. We did have some vandalism reported, which was referred to Vermont State Police. As Bram covered the winter parking ban, most of the folks, after we left the notices, after the road crew left the notices, have complied with that. There's one car that has not. I've reached out to the owner via email and have not heard anything back. So now that we have a tow provider, we'll probably be moving forward with that. There is the issue of there's several cars in the park and ride that have not moved in quite some time and could be considered abandoned. So I'll work with Bram on that to see what the tow solution is, because they're not able to move. Joshua had a great idea of creating a roster of people who use the parking lots by necessity, so that we know who to contact if a car is not moved, rather than resorting to a tow. So hopefully that moves forward. There's been some issues with people, namely an individual, getting upset with the road crew's performance, despite their lack of winter tires and a four-wheel drive vehicle to access certain spots. That then escalated into calling the town office, using choice language and making threats. And the town clerk basically told them if they called again, it would be referred to state police. One thing I did want to put on the public radar: a resident that went for a walk on the Cross Vermont Trail on Country Club Road returned to find a municipal ticket, like would come from Fish and Game or another law enforcement agency, without any officer information filled out, saying they were in violation of parking on a traveled roadway and wrote first warning. I've talked to game wardens, I've talked to other agencies. They have a different documentation system for warnings, so that did not come from any law enforcement officer. So if anybody sees one of those, please let me know, shoot me an email, take a picture of it. So we're trying to chase down that ticket book through the Vermont Judiciary Bureau. That is what I have to report. In addition to the report that was emailed, outside of getting further into the Vermont no trespass or the no trespass policy, and any your questions.
Any questions?
Yeah, I just want to follow up. The individual who acted extremely inappropriately and made threats and so forth. Unfortunately, that situation has turned into an animal cruelty case, and just wanted to say that is being pursued at the state level. So,
Thank you.
I wanted to thank Dan for his very thorough work on the no trespass policy and the supporting documents. Appreciate the follow-up with the League of Cities and Towns after the last discussion we had. Also want to thank Bram for checking with the town insurance to make sure we are covered with liability insurance in case we might be sued on this. And with that in mind, I
Point of
would,
order.
yes,
That's the next agenda item.
what's that?
The trespass policy isn't part of this agenda item.
Oh, I thought that was
It's
part of his, so,
It's the right after.
okay.
So I was gonna ask before we get into the
Go ahead.
trespass stuff, if that's all right.
That's fine.
So with these issues with citizens threatening, being aggressive, physical, whatever, I wonder if we need to just have a town policy that takes the decision from town staff away. Like if something happens, you report it to state police. Like there's no judgment call, like you just do it, because I feel like what has happened multiple times now is obviously our town staff, very competent, very caring, empathetic, want to try to work with these people. They get threatened, like really vile things happen, and they just kind of swallow it and say, I don't want to get that person in trouble. And I feel like we maybe want to look at, not that we vote on it tonight, a policy where we tell staff if they're threatened in any way that they are required to report to the state police. We should have a document that we also have, and just take the decision out of the staff's hands, so that way we are continuing to document. I know we have resident issues where folks aren't documenting to state police and it becomes a problem, but I think if someone is threatening a town employee, the state police should know about it, a record should be there, because that person the next time might threaten a non-town employee, and if there's no record, then there might not be any consequences.
Here, here.
One thing Dan's taught us is that it's important to report things to the state police so they can develop a record if it's a violation, but I think that's a sound idea.
I mean, I guess, I agree that sounds like a sound idea.
Okay, so let's move to the trespass policy.
I heard they did some good work.
They did some good work. They did some good work. A very thorough work. And so I would move that we adopt the Town of Plainfield policy for issuing and enforcing notices against trespass on town property. And this was not printed and put in the packet, but I happened to print a copy, and we do all need to sign here at the end, and it would be effective immediately.
And we had also discussed it being limited to the term of this constable as a trial.
We did discuss that. That is not in the motion, and it's not in the policy.
We can change the policy if the constable changes.
Okay.
I would think. But it's your motion.
Yeah, we can always change that in the future.
Okay.
I don't know if we need to do that now. That's your option if you choose to make an amendment.
I will second.
It's okay, we have a motion and second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there more discussion before we?
Oh, you want to have some discussion? Any more discussion?
I don't have discussion, but
okay.
I thought Francis Rose might have
So
discussion.
this is just me transparently remembering that conversation where we had articulated that yet another strategy around harm reduction and hedging bets about trying a new thing, that we would trial it for a single term. But I'm hearing that we can always make another motion in the future to suspend this policy.
Absolutely.
And so I feel okay about it. Thank you.
Okay. Or modify it. Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and all those in favor of this, approving this, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm going to pass this along.
Thank you.
The third page is the one that needs to be signed.
Okay. Yeah, we can do it right now.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Dan.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening.
You too.
The grant administrators update, we have that.
Karen Hatcher, Grant Administrator, evening all. Okay, so on the good news side of things, we're entering a period of time where we're actually seeing revenue from grants coming in. Hooray!
Yeah.
So I have detailed for you in your report anticipated revenue so that as you're thinking about money, which it's budget season, obviously, you can have these numbers in front of you. First is FEMA Public Assistance. We anticipate reimbursement of $1.25 million. Plus, at the end of the process, a closeout, there'll probably be another $200,000 in Cat C. But already we have $84,000 obligated, and we expect that the balance of the 1.25 million will come sometime in Q1, Q2 of next year, maybe Q3 on some, but all of this is money that has, nearly all of it is money that has been 100% spent and work done. So this is reimbursement. Peter?
Q1, Q2 calendar.
Calendar, thank you for that, yeah, calendar 2026. So that's all really good news, and those are solid numbers. Those are estimates from FEMA
Great.
after negotiation. So really good about that. That's good. On the federal highway side, we will have information this week, we expect, on the first three projects, which will be Mill Street, Bridge 21, and the Brook Road section up to Cameron Road. And the high end of those three projects, we estimate at $8 million. We don't necessarily think they're going to come in that high, but that's a 90% grant from federal highway, so the 10% at the high end would be a match of 10%, $800,000. On the good news side of things, we expect a reimbursement for emergency repairs that have already been done from federal highway of $850,000. So there's money coming in, there's money going out. It's kind of the way it is, but you know, these are big numbers, but these are big projects, but there's funding, you know, and so that's the good news. What we don't know, and this is the big question and the reason why a study of the Great Brook is such an important thing, is that the middle projects on Brook Road are really a much longer process and a much more involved process for coming to what the repairs might look like there, where the Grand Canyons are, right? So that will take longer, and we don't have those numbers, but we will have eventually, but we have a process that we're in on those. Excuse me. On the Emergency Watershed Protection Grant, as you heard, we, in first round for CDBG-DR, we were not recommended. I have more information about that in a minute, but included in that was the match for the Emergency Watershed Protection Grant. There will not be another bite at that apple in the second round of CDBG because all of the infrastructure money was allocated. So that leaves us with a match of $300,000 that otherwise would need to be covered. Where are we with EWP? Right now, we have been allocated $151,000 and change to do the engineering. That is 100% covered. So we're going to move forward. We have the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission working with us to do the RFP for engineering work for all of the sites in that grant. That will give us the information we need, at least on what the projects look like, without losing anything and without having to come up with a match. So that's 100%. And we're going to begin that work. I'm working with Brian Voigt. We have a call on Wednesday, so we'll get an RFP together for that piece. The next part of that will be a conversation, obviously, with the property owners. The trickiest part of it is that the property that is behind, that goes from Friends Meeting House to the Plainfield Health Center is not owned by the Plainfield Health Center. You know, there's property owned by the Hammocks that goes behind it. So we have to really look at getting all the property owners together and having a conversation about what the risk is and who should be thinking about mitigating that risk or paying for that risk. And that will involve having the town at the table as well. So it's going to be a process, I think, for all of the leadership to look at together to evaluate, you know, how that money gets, how it gets paid for, if we go forward. But there is no obligation. We have the grant, but there's no obligation and there's no loss. We could spend all the money on engineering and have that work done and never go forward with any of the repairs as long as we don't move a big machine onto the property and do any work. We don't lose anything. So we have a lot of time we have an extension till the end of 2026 to actually get the work done. So we have some time to try to negotiate and figure out what can happen there.
Quick question for
Oh, you
clarification.
need to be on a microphone.
Mike?
Quick question for clarification, Karen, is, if I understand correctly, the 3 or 4 projects that are in the WPP or Watershed Protection Program, 2 of the property owners have agreed to pay the match, in other words, the 25%. So the town is not on the hook to match everything.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
let me clarify. Yeah, so 2 of the properties are in the buyout program, so that would, if they went forward with a buyout, would render them ineligible for this.
These are properties not along
No,
that
not
stretch.
along that stretch, right? So the one on, Brook Road, and one
99 Brook Road.
99 Brook and 1495 Coburn, right? So those 2 are in the buyout program, and if those go through, they're not eligible for this. So that could take care of those 2. The one at 125 Berry Hill is for sale, and part of I don't believe it's under contract, but it is for sale, and I know people are looking at it, and it is part of the sale agreement, or will be, that the price of the sale will include the match, as I understand it, because a prospective buyer called me and we had this conversation. And then the last one, which is the complicated one, is the one that is the stretch from the Friends Meeting House to the Plainfield Health Center. So, so at this point, we're going to go ahead with the engineering costs. Bring.
Dan, do you go first? And
So the 300,000 that you referenced, is that for just the 203 Martin Meadow and
No.
property that Jason, or is that for all?
It's for all 4.
All the properties?
Yeah, yes, it is for all 4.
Yeah. Bram, go.
And I have those numbers for you if you need them. They're in your report.
Oh, there,
They're in the second page of the,
oh, maybe other.
Under the water.
Bram Tobin, our town clerk. I just, little history that people on the board might not be aware of. Generally speaking, the town does not, for very good reason, pay for things that are on private property. There was a notable exception to that with the drainage pond from the health center. The previous board felt that making an investment in building a retaining pool and working with Friends of the Winooski and spending taxpayer dollars on that was something that was in the town's interest. I'm not weighing in either way, I just want you to know that in that particular area, there's a history of the town being proactive.
Okay. Marianne?
Just one, Arian Turi, one quick comment as the buyout coordinator, that it may be good in the RFP for engineering to structure that such that, you know, Lord knows when we're gonna hear back from FEMA on buyouts, but if they come tomorrow, you may be able to then exclude that cost. And I know it's grant money, but you might just want to be able to turn that off if you need it.
Yeah. Good point, but with this grant, what they've told us is that the total amount is the total amount, and so it's not sectioned. So if we don't use the money for, say, three homes or 2 homes, that, let's say the two in the buyout happen tomorrow, right? We don't lose any of that. That money can be applied to another project. So, so this is a good thing.
So there's incentive to maybe reduce some of the engineering if possible.
The engineering itself is 100% covered, so that is what it is. It's really the actual repair work that could be reallocated from one project to another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
But the match would be as the project goes, so like, let's say theoretically the $136,000 match for that section between 203 Martin Meadow and the health center.
Yeah.
If we were doing that work, as we did that work, we would be required to match, but we wouldn't have to give the full match at the beginning.
Right, it's not at the beginning.
Like, so if we only did, half the work, we'd only own half the match, theoretically.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Just checking.
And I'll make sure of that. Because all of these are so complicated,
Yeah, of course.
so it's just,
Yeah.
let me make sure before I say yes to that.
We will obviously be discussing this further.
Yes, yes, for sure. Okay. Let me see where I was here, just a second. Yeah, okay. All right, so I do want to also talk about the CDBG DR grant. So as you know, first round, we did not get recommended. However, I had a call today with Patrick Scheld at the Agency of Commerce and Community Development, and he was very encouraging about the town applying in the second round. There's another $14 million that is available for housing, and we will have a call with them. Our grants group will have a call with them next week to get more feedback and details as far as what they would like to see changed, or how they'd like to see the second round grant amended. So,
I'm sorry, excuse me, Karen, didn't you just say there wouldn't be a second?
no, only for the matching. So
For the infrastructure.
for the infrastructure. So there were two parts of the grant application. One was for the East Village, and that was the most of it. But then there was the matching dollars for the EWP, which was the 304, right? So the housing money still does exist. 14 million is there. We do expect they will, the initial feedback we got, which it wasn't a full feedback, it was just like, can you give me a couple of ideas about what it was? And one of the things was the scale and scope of the project. They were concerned that it wasn't going to be doable in the 6-year timeframe. So that was one thing, and the other had to do with, although we had a meeting, it obviously didn't get to the folks who were reviewing that because the bond vote was voted down, they thought we didn't have site control, although we had an option to go forward. So we will be digging in and figuring out what the second round application looks like. So stay tuned. After I hear more about that, I'll come back and I'll let you know. But we're going to keep working because it's still a possibility, and they seem to be very encouraging about our being in that next round. Okay.
Not to get
One
into
question.
a big discussion here, but are you saying a second round that would have the town of Plainfield as the applicant?
That's a great question. It may well be that the development corp that has been formed could be the applicant, if that's allowable. It might be for the DR because, for example, ExecuSuite, they were able to apply directly and not go through the town. So if it were the town applying, then the development corp would be the subrecipient. But it would be much easier for everyone concerned if it was directly to the development corp, and then the town is out of the mix, and you don't have the worry about that. So we're going to find out. That's one of the questions for the meeting next week.
Yeah, again, not to get into a big thing, but I think
Yeah.
that's an important distinction, and I think there's detailed discussion to be had about
Absolutely.
how to do that either jointly or separately.
Absolutely, and hopefully we'll have more information by the next meeting for that.
That's your question.
Oh,
Yeah, just
Vicky,
a quick question.
you
Gotta go to
need,
the microphone.
Sure.
and your name on, please?
Questions for Karen, Vicki McDonald. Is the meeting where you're gonna hear that information open to the public, is it, or
No.
not?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Yes, one last
Go ahead.
thing. I know this is budget season, and I know that you're discussing many things in the budget. One of the things that I am concerned about in terms of big grants and the kind of work that we've been doing is that one of the pieces that gets kind of looked at when groups are evaluating is what our capacity is to manage those grants and what our structure is within the town office. A possibility for how we might look better would be to refashion, would be for the board and the staff to consider a position of a town administrator versus just what we've got now, which is wonderful people, but no central point where there's accountability. And so I wanted to just, from the grants perspective, make the recommendation and perhaps even offer that if you'd like a proposal around that, I could work with Josh on it, but I just feel like it's really important for us, given what the next few years look like in terms of grant administration and the actual work, to have a central point in the office, a person whose job that is, that it's not a volunteer, and that's a, that we could look at how to refashion what we currently have based on the talent and what the jobs are. So that's just my 2 cents, and happy to work on it if you would like me to.
Thank you. It's been discussed before, or at least brought up before, so I think we're going to have some serious discussions about it going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, the only other time in one of these meetings we brought it up, the conversation didn't go very far because there were no proposals. So I don't know.
Would you like a proposal?
I mean, I don't speak for the board, but it would be helpful if there was something to discuss from.
Yes.
And I think potentially like looking at other towns and how they structure would be helpful.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh gave us, a month or so ago, some comparisons with the town of Calais, I think it was, for example, that has a town administrator type role. And, as Dan said, the discussion didn't go very far because there really wasn't anything specific to say, here's where we are and whatnot. But I do hear that is a concern, statewide, particularly with small towns.
Yeah.
Towns smaller than us who have even less capacity, is that in order for these types of funding streams to come in, that there really needs to be some attention paid to capacity building in order to effectively receive or effectively even compete for those funds. So that's a good point. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Is this on point there? Yeah, go ahead.
Of course. I just point out that our small neighbor, East Montpelier, also has a town administrator who is simultaneously emergency management director.
Yeah, and I think there's some good discussion to have about this, but it stands to reason if we're getting funds, that whoever's giving us the funds should have a comfort in that we can handle them. So, thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Josh, you want to talk about the VCRF?
MCRF?
MCRF, there it is.
I see our bond attorney Eli Emerson on the screen.
Yep,
And there's a whole packet.
Yeah.
so Eli Emerson has made himself available for questions. This is just the renewal of the borrowing that we did to bridge the financial gap from the from the $1 million we got from the Municipal Climate Recovery Fund. And this fund that we're borrowing from actually went to a long, lengthy workshop about it, and it is something that they want to continue to grow. The bond bank does as a source of lending for municipalities. And but tonight, what is important is that we make a motion to sign this and re-up everything. The main, the main difference here is that this will have a 1.3% interest instead of a 0.5% annual. But since we're going to be receiving the funds from FEMA in the next 3 quarters, likely, maybe 4, what we'll see is like immediately paying back that principal. So in reality, the debt service isn't going to be terribly different than what we did this year, which was $5,000. And so the first year doesn't require any principal payback. And then over the next 4 years, it's a quarter of the principal is due each of those years, but we'll be paid back on this before that time.
Okay. Any questions?
He's got
You've got,
Oh, I was looking for you.
no, I did spend some time at the office this afternoon. There's a series of documents in there that we should take the time carefully to go through and sign tonight. Some of them require just Carl. I think Graham and Josh have already signed to put the seal on. Some of them require a majority of us, all of us to sign, so we should just make sure that we do all of those now.
Yeah, and then
I'm happy to take the yellow folder back to the office to give us time to do that after the meeting.
I would suggest that we do it now so as not to miss something and require. Because they're so different, each one's so different.
Yeah, I remember looking through this.
So that one is by majority of the select board.
So what you need is.
Oh,
go ahead, Eli.
could I add, just one of the documents is a select board resolution, which basically authorizes all the other documents. So should be some motion of the select board to adopt that resolution. And then, yes, it requires a signature from at least a majority of the select board members.
Yeah. Can I make a motion to approve that the select board adopt the resolution and certificate for the renewal of the MCRF loan?
Second, okay, we have a motion and a second, any discussion?
And just assuming that motion assumes the authority to sign all the other documents.
Yeah, I believe that's what the resolution is for.
Yes, that's covered in the resolution. It authorizes the select board and the officers to execute all the documents.
Thank you, Eli, okay. Okay, so while we're doing that, should we be doing something else, or should
Well,
we?
you gotta vote.
Oh,
If you want, I mean, if you want to.
yeah, I think we probably should. We do have a motion and a second, and there's no discussion that I saw, so all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that's carried. So we can sign this.
Yeah. Let's do a signing bonanza. Maybe we start over here, and we'll just work it down the table. If you want to put them all over here, or the ones that we all have to sign.
Yeah, you can start that way if you want.
Well, just so it's easier to go down the table.
Yeah.
Assembly line.
Yep.
Carl, this one is for you.
Just me?
Chair. This is just for Carl too. Eddie? Thank you. Carl, top one for you. This is the thrilling action that people come to select board meetings for.
Yeah.
That's a town of plan.
Oh, down it, yeah, okay.
May I make a request in this clause that we not use acronyms without explaining what those acronyms are in the course of any.
I love that.
Okay, he did say what the acronym is for.
No, I'm looking ahead, and I realized there was a.
You're not on mic, so people online will be hearing you though.
Right, and I think I'm duly authorized. And duly authorized.
I don't think. One Patty has it right now, I don't think.
Yeah, Josh, there was one where there was like a little chart that we thought that your name was in, but we thought Carl's name should also be in. Okay.
Let's see. And that one there.
Eli, can there be less paperwork in the future? Be helpful.
It would. You know, it's sort of a fact of dealing with the bond bank. They're a paperwork intensive entity. You probably notice when you do loans with local commercial banks, they aren't anywhere near as complicated.
And Eli, since on the form where it's a duly authorized representative that I'm listed, and all the sections here where it says duly authorized, I can sign, correct?
Yes.
All right. I will send these to you tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Eli.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.
I think you guys just made yourselves authorized representatives. That wasn't for us to sign.
It's okay. It does happen.
That was Carl's form to say that Josh was authorized to sign for us. But now you both are too, so you might get drafted into something.
Oh, fair enough.
So, Carl, you
Oh,
witness here on this day, and
on this 8th.
Your 8th?
That's Krampus Day.
Is it Krampus Day?
Yeah.
I should have worn my Krampus suit today. I didn't know. Maybe I'll wear it up for the budget meeting.
now you've authorized them.
Oh, good, now they're on the hook, okay,
Yay.
excellent.
Thanks for backing us up, Josh. You get back.
So did you get what you needed here? That's gonna be the important thing.
Okay.
All right.
Excellent.
EVAC report, I think.
Yeah, the EVAC report.
Arian Delivery here on behalf of the East Village Expansion Advisory Committee. So we passed on December 3rd in a meeting. We unanimously passed a final report to the Select Board based upon the scope of work and charter provided by the Select Board. This report was broken down into several sections. Each section was approved by the committee individually and the report as a whole. I'm pleased to say that the committee unanimously passed every section and the final report. We did have one member absent on that day, but all 10 members approved every section. The sections overview outline of the report are, this report is on the EVEAC webpage on the town website, and that has been available. I think we got it up there the next day on the 4th, or maybe it was the 5th, but anyway, it's there, and sent to the select board as well. The outline of the report is the overall timelines and sequencing steps, complete with an appendix, which is a timeline table, which is a modified version of an earlier timeline. It explains very clearly that the timeline is based upon funding, and so because that's not a known variable at this time, that timeline may shift, but overall gives a general sequence of the steps, regardless of when it officially would start. There's a project design, lots of conversations about the current design and considerations. There are a couple of things that are in play at this time, such as the governor's issued an executive order. How does that play into wetlands? That would be a significant example. Wetlands that haven't been officially designated, which is relevant to this particular piece of land. There's a detailed budget, which is the same budget that was part of the CDBG DR grant. That's provided in the appendix. That budget could be modifiable under various scenarios and contingencies, but at least it is a decent budget. There's a discussion on a number of financing options that the project could continue to look at. There's also a detailed project management plan that has basically all the key management steps and what would be needed, some considerations about what could be provided. There is a lot sales plan with a number of marketing considerations, things like that, and there is a permitting plan. There are some specific scopes of work that were not possible for the committee to complete because, such as apply for all permits, because the project is not it would need to be substantively enacted and moving forward in order to effectively apply for permits. So therefore, that's not something that we could do, for example. Based on the failing of the town bond vote, and we were already in the direction of trying to wrap up the plan, the committee determined that we should finish the plan, present it to the select board, and then we also held a vote at the same meeting, also unanimously, to recommend, as is per your packet, that the committee be concluded as part of the process, that we've substantively completed the scope of work to the best extent that we could as a committee, and then we wrote this report that put together all of the best knowledge that we had about the project to date, which is quite extensive and I think pretty thoughtful. So with that said, I hope you guys had a chance to look at that report. I'm happy to entertain any questions to the best that I can.
Any questions? Yeah.
Echoing a message that Peter had sent on behalf of the board about the transfer of findings, reports, engineering studies, things like this. Just want to make sure that the mechanics whereby those materials are transferred to the town and out of that committee before we dissolve the committee?
Yeah, so that, so Kim Madalinsky has been in touch with Bob Fancher, the town website administrator, about getting some of those documents. Many of them are already on the town website. A number of other ones are on a Google website, which there's no reason that Google website is going to go away anytime soon, but still additionally how to preserve that stuff on the town website. So I understand that's being coordinated, and that is the intention. Yeah. As I don't know the exact specifics of that, but that's what they're working on.
Mm-hmm. Graham.
Yes, Aaron, this sounds like a lot of material, and I was wondering for the town report, if you could send me what's relevant and what needs to be in the town report. And
Thank you for bringing that up, Bram, because that actually is a question that I had for you. Should I just send you the final report? That might be it's certainly the best summary and is not a bazillion pages long.
Yeah, I think the key thing, just looking at costs and stuff, we just don't want something I think the lengthy reports from committees tend to be 3 or 4 pages, single-spaced is a long one. So
This
is
is 11 with appendices.
It's 11 with 3 pages of appendices. Is that acceptable?
Could we have did you say there was a summary?
The final report is effectively the summary of the committee's work. So if 11 pages is too long, we could try to figure out how there's a synopsis and then a web link to the town website. Would that be better?
I think a link to the site plus the offer for anyone who isn't on the net to have it available.
I think that would be, as long as that's acceptable to Bram and Carol, the only way to realistically implement that is to say, if you can go to the town office and request a copy. I don't know what else to say.
let me...
Not to add to your burden.
I don't know, why don't I talk to you about this? I just want to see what the length of the...
I'll send it to you and then we'll figure it out. How about that?
That sounds good.
Yep, thank you.
Just to follow up what Francis Rose had asked about in the email that I had sent out, and I appreciate what he's trying to do, work with Bob Fish, get all that stuff there. There were some specific engineering studies that were paid for with grant monies and whatnot, and the town should have those, because there's important information there that can serve other purposes.
Absolutely.
Just want to make sure you get that.
I think that's the intention. I think there's a little question of, there's probably gonna have to be a slight, design element about, because you can't just take one thing and throw it into another thing. You sort of have to structure it, and so how best to do that, I think, is what's being worked out. But yes, I think that's all of those should be there. Totally agree.
Great.
Any other questions on the final report?
I don't see any.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Expressions of gratitude.
Thank you.
Now, should we do?
Okay, great. Glad to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah. Should we vote to dissolve the committee?
I'd like to make a motion to dissolve the East Village Expansion Advisory Committee.
Second.
Moved in second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that has been dissolved. Thank you very much, Marion, and your whole team. A lot of work.
So much.
Plainfield Housing Advisory Committee, status update. We're making calls, I guess. Do you have any updates for us, or?
I think Peter and I could tag team this announcement, this update.
Okay.
Part one is that calls are underway, interviews are underway. We are still getting more applicants, which is wonderful. Which just, I think we came off of the harder deadline of tonight for appointments to give us the feeling of expansiveness around making sure we all had the chance to have the conversations that we could and wanted to have with the many candidates. So yeah, here we are, and I'll pass this down to Peter.
Yeah, I want to thank Dan for putting the spreadsheets together for tracking and the interview forms that people have been filled out. As Francis Rhodes said, we came off the hard deadline because after the first round of requests went out, we kind of hit a dead end, and frankly didn't really have people to choose from, sufficient numbers. And so there have been some reposts and requests, and there was a second wave, which was really nice. I've personally spoken to most of the people at this point, and they're very, very helpful conversations. I really think that there is a mood of recognition that we came through a difficult process, but that our housing needs have not gone away. And so folks are interested in doing what they can to do that. So I think that's a positive note. And I do thank everybody for signing up. I would also say that we've had Christy Farnham came to the select board a while back with an offer of making some presentations with the folks that she works with at Northern Borders, at ACCD, Historic Preservation Vermont, and some other folks. And the thought was that they would come and make a presentation at some point to the select board. And I questioned Francis Rhodes in email. I said, why not make a presentation to the new housing committee?
Right.
And like 2 hours later, Christy sent an email to Francis Rhodes saying, I can't get everybody here that night. Why don't we make this to do? So it kind of organically looks like, I think that's a good thing. And we had talked about the select board probably warning the first meeting of the Housing Advisory Committee as a special select board meeting, and actually us running that first meeting as a launch, and maybe have those folks come and make a presentation there to kind of get everyone on the same page and to give them, a menu of resources that are out there as they start to do deeper dives into different aspects of the housing issue. So, anyway, pass it down again.
Yep.
Or throw it.
Don't do that.
I would add too that allows this, not just the housing committee to hear from this group of state officers, but also the select board, kind of stacks the function. we're already hosting that meeting. Specifically, this is like maybe a slight divergence in topic. The meeting itself, or the committee itself, there's been a question floated whether or not 3 co-chairs is the appropriate form of chairpersonship for this committee, or if we want the more standard chair and vice chair. I think this is a good moment for us to address this, discuss this, just float opinions on the matter. So that's the question. What kind of chairpersonship is most appropriate for this committee?
So, and I'd love to maybe, we have one of the I don't see who's online, but one of the 3-headed chairs from the EVAC with us.
2, Lauren.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I couldn't read every name online. So my understanding from that was that gave them like a natural agenda committee and like folks to check in and make sure things were moving forward. Whether that's 2 people or 3 people, it does seem like, and I think it's just semantics, whether it's chair and vice chair, because either one of them could run the meeting depending on what they wanted to do. So there's no requirement that the chair is the person who facilitates the meetings. That's just what usually happens. So to me, I think 2 or 3 makes sense, so that there's a group that can help set agendas, work together, be there for each other if someone has to miss. And I'm perfectly comfortable with them being co-equals rather than some sort of made-up subservient relationship.
Just to note, Lauren Geiger says 3 chairs was fine tri-chairs was fine for everyone.
Thank you, Lauren.
For an 11-person committee.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 2 different. I mean, it's not.
And I'm thinking maybe we should just address it with the volunteers who are going to be at this meeting. And because one of the purposes of this special meeting will be to form the structure of the committee and give requests for information that we are hoping they can come back with. What I'm hoping for is some kind of actionable suggestions that the board could look at and decide on, with costs if possible, but ideas that are something that the select board can handle. That would be my feeling.
I mean, my only slowdown on that is at that first meeting, at least the way that Francis Rose and I ran the first meeting of the EVAC, the election of chairs is part of the first meeting, so they can run subsequent meetings. So we have to know whether they're electing 2 chairs or 3 chairs.
We would, yes.
At that meeting, we wouldn't be
Okay.
able to like, how many chairs? It would be very unwieldy to decide that in the room on that night and then have them elect that number, I think. So we should just decide what feels comfortable, I think.
Okay, quick poll in the room, Arian?
Yeah, what do you think, Arian?
I'm not sure that it would be unwieldy to bring that up as the first topic of conversation for the group. You probably will have some people who have some significant opinions and may have put some significant thought into it. I would say that I don't see any I think both are totally functional. 3 chairs totally work for the EVEAC. 2 chairs, could work for this. I don't see like an obvious wrong answer. So, somewhat preference.
Okay. And are we thinking, do we have any kind of size of the group
9.
figured out? 9.
It's in the document.
9 was what was proposed.
So that was proposed, and that's what we're
I guess,
still.
but not just proposed,
We
we
passed
it.
9 with 3 co-chairs.
Okay.
That's what we passed in our.
Why do we stick with that?
That's what it currently says, but
Yeah.
again, it's our committee, so we can change it. So, and we have tweaked it already, so, after following the Plainfield Forward stuff, so.
Yeah, and if 2 of the chairs say 3 is okay, maybe we should just stick with that,
All right.
what we've
let's do
decided
that.
before.
Let's do that.
Is that okay?
I support that.
And I mean, we will tell this group this explicitly, but if they figure that 3 is too many and it's unwieldy,
Yes.
they can always come back to us and ask us to amend what the scope of the committee is, and we can very easily do that. If they've, said we actually only need 7 people, or we think because of these reasons we need 2 co-chairs, I think all of that can be amended once we have the committee going.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Good, okay. Yes.
Michael Billingsley. I wanted to make an offer to the Housing Advisory Committee. Within the town, we have a GIS mapper working for emergency management who has the capacity to map out all the housing in the town and to delineate which are open for sale, which are condemnable, which are rehabable, and could work with the town clerk and with Carol and find out which of those were accurately depicted. And it always helps when there's a visualization at the time you have a meeting, so people can basically know what you're talking about when you're talking about housing stock. And I'd be happy to do that if that meets your needs.
Thank you, that's a great offer.
Sounds great.
And that'll be something we can offer at the meeting. I'm looking at a calendar here, trying to decide when that might be. Do we have any sense of that yet?
Well, we have to appoint first. That would be the, it seems like we have to have a select board meeting where we appoint the people. And then in the future, once we've talked to those people about their schedules and what days of the week and times work, then we would schedule the first housing meeting, I think.
Okay.
We have what our current select board schedule is that next Monday is a special budget meeting.
Yes.
Focus.
Yes.
And then a regular meeting the Monday after that.
On the 22nd, yeah.
I would hope that we could do the appointments on the 22nd. And then maybe we talk to Christy Farnham and her crew about, when early in January we could convene, the first actual meeting. Because I don't think realistically stuff's going to happen over the holidays.
No.
I did want to add one other thing. You talked about the co-chairs. Our charge also says something about appointing people to 1 to 3 year terms. And I'm just thinking as a practical matter, I'm not sure we need to do that kind of breakdown. I would just appoint people for 1 year terms to start off with. The people I've talked to, in terms of time commitment, understand that, housing is going to be an issue that's going to be with us for quite some time. They're not looking to make 5 or 10 year commitments, but, I think, forcing us to say, okay, who's a 1 year term, who's a 2 year term, who's a 3 year term, puts extra work on us that's unnecessary at this point.
Yep, that makes sense to me.
One practical matter is Christy Farnham's ACCD Northern Borders group. They don't need to be in the first meeting of this group, of this committee. If they're on the first date we can come up with is actually in February, I'd rather get the housing committee going sooner.
Well,
So I just wanted to clarify that, which wasn't what was just stated. But preference to get them going sooner, even if it means the ACCD Northern Borders Group checks in with them and us at a future meeting.
And what we did for the EVAC was the select board gave permission, voted to give for 2 members of the select board to convene the committee, do the first meeting until there's election of chairs who then took over the meetings. So we could do, depending on timing, the sooner we get these folks together and building together is the better, I think.
I'm curious about the thoughts about the 1 to 3 year terms. Carl, you said it sounded good, but I didn't hear from anybody else.
Yeah, to me, it's 1 year is fine.
1 year sounds fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, thanks for that point. We don't want to make work for us or them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess that's all we need to do for now. But the idea would be.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron. Regarding the timing then, it sounds like we're going to be making calls for the next 2 weeks. We want to appoint on the 22nd. And then plan on early January.
There's 2 sheets, spreadsheets. There's one where people have put in their, filled in their things and their comments, and there's then there's the tracking sheet where you can put in comments.
Yeah.
And I would urge people to use that. I was using that. I know Francis Rose has used.
Yeah.
Carl, I know you have left a message with a couple of people, but
Yeah.
it's a place to put some notes and.
Yeah.
I know I've taken advantage of that. So.
Yeah, and thanks for all of you who set it up. It was really useful. even though I screwed it up, but you were able to fix it. So. Okay, can we talk about the animal control ordinance revision?
Yeah.
Sorry. I can't reach.
So one thing to remind everybody, in order to put some teeth in the town enforcement of quality of life issues and so forth, we want to start issuing municipal tickets. The one that was in the municipal ordinance that was in the best shape for doing this at this point is the animal control ordinance. The only problem is there was one section that an expert from the league said seems unconstitutional for him and could force tickets to get thrown out if the judge reads the whole ordinance, which might happen. So he recommended striking the, I think it's section 7, subchapter F, which authorizes, the town authorizes the animal control officer to go onto property and take action. So if so the proposal is to basically strike that section. In terms of the process, the townsfolk, if they have an objection to that particular amendment, they can basically within 44 days, object and have a petition to, cancel this change. It wouldn't cancel the ordinance, it would just cancel this particular change. I don't see a swell of people objecting to something that seems blatantly unconstitutional. The process is basically, if it would be adopted and signed tonight, I would post it and in 5 places and run a newspaper ad describing the change and also detailing the change on the website. There already is something on the website talking about it. And there's 44 days to have the objections raised, and then it would take effect in 60 days, 60. So we're not gonna be able to, act in terms of writing tickets
Until spring.
Until for a while. I mean, it's an arduous process, but I think that's to just safeguard against, being rash about passing ordinances which are different than policy, so.
Thank you. Oh.
I would just second what Graham said about this ordinance being the closest to being ready. We also looked at town health, we looked at parking and stuff, but this one is actually already structured to have what the Municipal Ticket Bureau has, which is incentivizing compliance, which is, here's a penalty, but if you basically say, okay, I agree with that, you get a waiver penalty, which is a much reduced thing. It was structurally set up to do this, and this we reviewed with Trevor Whipple at the League of Cities and Towns, so I would move that we adopt.
Okay.
That's an official motion?
Yes.
To amend the animal control ordinance by striking section 7, subsection F?
Correct.
Second.
And Graham did prepare the full ordinance with the signature sheets for us to sign, and that's in the folders.
Yep, I saw that. And there was an escalating fine, if there's a continual problem, there's escalating fines, as I noticed.
Yes, that already
That was already there.
exists.
Yep,
So.
yep. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, Bram, so you're gonna,
Great, so everybody's gonna sign that, so let me just.
yeah, can you find it for me?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is, right here.
Yeah, I put it on top, I think.
Thank you.
So,
Great, and it's on the last page.
I will,
Thank you, Bram.
and our names are next to it, so we know right where to sign.
All right. Thanks for all that work on that, everybody. That's, hopefully makes it easier for folks to control animals. Okay, town report, it looks like you want to talk about printing.
Yeah, Brent, I just want to make sure everybody is comfortable with, do you want to simply keep on doing what we're doing in terms of, I can't remember, just the numbers are, the printing is about 3,800, and then with the mailing, that's another, brings it to about, I think, 4,600. And I just wanted to check in. I mean, other towns are doing different things. We have some towns simply notify everybody that the report will be available at the town clerk's office. Whatever. I'm not advocating anything. I just, if everybody's comfortable, we'll just keep on doing what we're doing. But if you feel differently, or you feel that the mailing everybody in the town report is not something you want to do, so
I mean, the idea of sending out a notice that the town report is at the town office would still make folks who can't get around well, they'd have a problem getting their report. So I don't know if that's the best approach.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't.
You're just saying. I know. Yeah.
It's something that other towns are doing. I just want to keep you in the loop on it. We can just keep on doing what we're doing. It's fine.
Yeah. My sense, the town's been through a lot of stress and changes, and my inclination would be to keep doing.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree, especially because the mailing part of it is actually a pretty small number compared to the printing. We have an outside mail house who does it, so it's not a lot of extra work for our town office. I will say, like, longer term, it may make sense, especially as we continue to promote the mailing list for folks who really want stuff by mail, which we're starting to do and getting more names on. Maybe in the future we look at it. I know we've budgeted for the printing, so we should do it, but I do think we should think and maybe get some town feedback, because one, our mail service is not great, and so I know lots of people who didn't get it. We probably paid for mail that did not arrive, and two, not everybody wants that in their mailbox. So if we give people multiple options and ways to get things in the future.
Great. Yeah, just checking in, not advocating changes. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I kind of like the same thing too, and particularly because there's nice pictures in the ground.
Great.
Yeah. Can we get a new photographer though?
Having, when you had your issues last year, I spent a lot of time on the report. I think there are some reports that could be a lot shorter than they have been, I think, and just off the top of my head, I know that the sheriff's report that we got, was like 5 pages long, and 3 of it was basically his biography.
Right.
It's like, come on, people, it's like, I think townspeople are interested in, the stats.
Just to, it has been for decades and decades, the town clerk's responsibility to produce the report. In fact, the statutory power to do the report lies with the auditors. And they, in some towns, the auditors actually go through. I tend to accept the reports that are submitted, but I think I can go over it with you and stuff if there are things that look long or shaky or something.
And we actually, the very brief time I was an auditor, I did review every single report and made corrections and talk to people, like when budgets didn't add up and other things. So one town report was edited heavily. I think it was your first town report as well.
Yes, right. I'm sure of that. Yeah, I'm sure that needed a lot of editing.
Well, not because of you.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Sounds good.
Thanks. And I should just mention to the board that Francis Rose and I are going to work on the board's report.
Okay.
And we'll send out a draft when I'll do the first draft, and Francis Rose is going to review it. We'll send it to everybody else for feedback and get that in. It'll
you
only
for
be
doing it.
30 or 40 pages, I'm sure. No worries. Okay.
The minutes from every meeting of the year.
And all the little jokes, Dan.
Thank you,
Let's see,
Brandon, for
okay,
doing the question.
this is one that we can thank Patty and Peter for following up on, and this is the road signs,
Oh, yeah.
the electronic road
Actually,
signs.
Sorry,
Oh.
I forgot there's one thing.
Oh, one thing for Brandon.
It was for many years, the practice in the town report to have a page of people who are delinquent in taxes. Now, this was done away with a number of years ago. Once again, I'm not advocating it, but I have received phone calls from some people who thinks it puts a fire under the tail of those who haven't paid their taxes. I'm not subscribing to that, but I just, if you want to think about whether you want to add that or add other things or not, or keep it the way it is, I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think the board should make that decision, but go ahead.
I've had one or two people comment to me that they'd like to see something like that. One issue that I see with that is that by the time you have information and it goes to press, months go by, and you may end up with people who've paid their bills and then are publicly embarrassed because of that, and I have a problem with that.
Yep.
Not advocating here.
Yep, and I would just like to add, Peter, that there are people who just can't pay, and they're working out how to do it. And like you say, they may have it resolved by the time town meeting comes, and they may not, but, yeah, okay, well, we'll think about that. All of us should think about that. Okay, so we have the feedback signs. Can you tell us anything about it?
Yeah, first off, I want to thank Patty and Josh for, several meetings that we've had and conversations with Patty Coburn at V-Trans. And this, comes out of like what we're trying to do with the intersection here. And short term, one of the things that V-Trans offered was to have their traffic safety people come out and go from one end of the village to the other and look at the current signage that was there. And so they went out and did that, and then on November 17th, they came back in and they have just completed re-signing the entire village. There are several new speed limit 30 signs that have gone up. They've changed the yellow signs that kind of picture the intersection to more accurately reflect what the intersection is. There's a couple of watch for turning vehicle signs. They've consolidated the electric vehicle charging and park and ride signs. They enlarged the arrows on the curve itself, and specifically recommended 2 locations for these driver feedback signs.
And this is just so we're clear, it's a radar with
It's a radar, it flashes, here's what your
speed is,
et cetera. And the 2 places where there's a new speed 30 sign that's by one of the big flower pots, maybe 100 feet this side of the library. If there's some like wooden pots along the road there. And then down right in front, there's a new speed 30 sign in front of the School Street Apartments, the old high school. And so those are the 2 locations that they have specifically recommended that we put these signs. I think I sent an email to you all that kind of lists some of the options and the price ranges. They start around $2,000 and can go up to $4,500 depending on whether they're permanent. These would be permanent. Those are cheaper than the mobile signs. Is there electricity? Are they solar powered? Do you have programming that can do like traffic study information and stuff like that? Anyway, make a long story short, I'd like to make a motion that we amend our town budget in Josh gave the language, it's in the guardrails and sign line item. We have $5,000 in there, we've spent about $3,000, and I would add $9,000 to that. That comes from the Act 27 funds. That's what we use to give additional money to the Rec and Public Arts Committee. And we had also set aside $7,500 for the Better Connections, and because that grant didn't go through, that's not being used. So And I say 9,000, I think Josh can probably do this for around 6, but it would give him flexibility to look at the different options and then not have to come back to us with extra money. So the budget would be amended by adding that to that line item to be paid for with those funds.
Okay.
What was the?
Was that a motion?
Excuse me?
What's the name of the funding again?
Act 27.
Act 27.
Was that a motion?
Yes.
That
Okay.
was a motion. I will second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion second. Dan?
Just one question about, so we know it's gonna be $9,000 or less.
Yeah.
Adding it to that budget item puts that $9,000 in that budget item. And so like if they only spent 6, the other 3,000 is now in that budget. Is there a reason why we wouldn't just approve the spending of up to $9,000 for the signs? And the rest of that 3,000 would then just stay in general, or the rest of the money would then stay in general funds?
Short answer to your question, no. And that's exactly what we did with the rec. And
It just, yeah, since we know exactly what this money is for,
Yeah.
I just wonder why we don't just say allowable up to $9,000.
That was my intent. Josh came back with the other, so I said I'd present it that way. But
Okay.
in fact, what he will do is whatever we spend, he will add it to that line item and it will be a wash and say, we spent $6,237.29 and this much income came from Act 27. And the additional wouldn't be sitting there. It would be sitting in unrestricted general funds.
Well, not based on the motion you just made.
Correct.
Because you just made the motion to move $9,000 to that.
Correct, because I told Josh I would do that.
All right, I don't like.
You want to make a friendly amendment?
I don't like the way this is. I would rather we allow up to $9,000 to be spent on these signs.
Out of Act 27.
Out of Act 27 funds. That's what I would prefer, just so that.
I'll accept that as a friendly amendment.
Okay. And that the second is also okay with
Second
it?
stands.
All right.
I'm glad everybody's so friendly. Did you have a point? And while you're going up there, I also would favor getting the ones that are solar and that have some kind of system in it that will give us traffic information, such as how many of the drivers that go by are speeding.
Yes, I think they will be solar because there's no easy way to run
Yes.
direct power there.
Can I just interject here?
Yeah.
We've had an experience with 2 of these signs before. One of them, we had solar. Other one, we had a battery that the road crew has to change. Solar, let's say it was 30% more expensive. Please, let's go that direction and not mess around.
Yeah.
I really think that Selectboard made a bad decision with the second one. They're trying to save money. And, it just ends up hourly wage. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, we have the money, so I agree.
Yeah.
And
okay.
there are varying levels of sophistication in
Yes.
data collection. So I would just leave that to Josh to get the kind of.
All right.
Yeah, the traffic information, particularly because it's this intersection. And I would say this, I didn't even notice that the signs had been changed, and I sent Patty an email, and she said, I think our crew went out there last week, and it's like, okay. So I drove it back and forth to say, oh yeah, they did. Okay, but these things will be noticed.
Yes.
And they are effective.
Yeah.
From all reports. So, barring, major reconstruction of this intersection, this is something very tangible that I think will have a positive effect on the safety here. And just one additional thought. We're still talking to Patty because they have a new contractor for the paving project that's slated for here in 2029. And we still are talking with them about what they are going to do in terms of crosswalks and sidewalks and things like this. So this does not negate those conversations at all. This is just something we were able to accomplish immediately.
A couple of thoughts I have. I'm just curious, and maybe you folks who have been in the meetings would have an answer, but it feels like those are close to the intersection where the state has placed them. I mean, I'd almost prefer to have one out by Tim's and one up near the post office, because people come in at 50 miles an hour, and by the time they slow down to 30, I don't know. Have you had any discussions like that with the state?
No, not specifically. I
Okay.
think, we could always That's up to us. We could always petition, file another, section 1111, permit request.
Yeah.
They would have to come out and do a study again as to where to locate that, because they have to approve that. They've already pre-approved these two locations.
Okay, well,
I
that's,
would say this, if we put them at the far ends, people might slow down there, but speed up by the time they get to the intersection, so,
Yeah. And also, obviously, Tim's is outside the town, so we couldn't put
Yeah,
signs
yeah, it would-
outside of town borders.
right, right. The other question I had, and I don't know if you've had this conversation, but when they do the repaving project and thinking about sidewalks, I'm thinking about that section of sidewalk across from the post office down to 214. Did you have a conversation with them on that? Is
No,
that,
we haven't gotten there.
okay, but that's something that, yeah, we should talk about.
I mean, you may recall, they came back to us with a scaled-down version, which basically extended the sidewalk from the bridge over the Winooski up to and across from the town hall here and a crosswalk.
Yes.
And we threw some things back at them, like a crosswalk at the library, et cetera. And, potentially doing some other things with the island here and guardrail. Those conversations haven't gone further because
Okay.
they have a new contractor, which I think is called CHA. And Michael, I don't know what CHA stands for. So I just call it CHA, okay?
CHA.
It's T. Anyway, so, waiting, and the last email I had with Patty Coburn was, let us know when you're ready to meet.
Okay, great.
So,
Great, okay, that's always my only thought.
Just following up, when we got the two other signs that show the speeding things, there is all these regulations about where you're allowed to put them, just so you know. In other words,
they've already done that work for us.
right, no, I'm just saying that there's this thing about, well, maybe we should move it here or there. We could ask them, but I'm just saying, just be ready. Obviously, whatever they picked fits into all these very
Yeah.
complicated rules, so.
I'm okay with where it is. I mean, I don't want to make it harder. Okay, well, that's great. So we have.
Can we vote?
Yeah, we have a motion and a second, and we've had some discussion. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, great. Thanks for doing that work, you guys. It's been helpful. Road commissioners left the building.
He's online. I don't know if he's wants.
Is he
to
still?
give a
Oh,
report.
okay. Josh, you available, or he was online when he was sitting here too?
Yeah.
I think that may just be a vestige of when he was here before.
Yeah, I think so too.
But it's fine. He doesn't have to report.
Well, we've heard about the sanding on Gray Road and I guess Maxfield Road. Okay, so I guess they're on top of those. But I have been, when people call me complaining, I tell them to make a report on the website. Okay, letter to Governor Scott regarding position of FHWA. You want to?
Yes, I think, again, this was something that we had talked about when Josh reported back that the Municipal Assistance Bureau at VTrans said that Federal Highways recommended that they were not going to recommend any relocation of the Brook Road other than in the current right-of-way. And we talked briefly about, the fact that Josh thought that perhaps the state was not as aggressive in being the municipal advocate that they should have here. And the fact that with the turnover at the folks at Federal Highways, there's currently isn't anyone who's actually been out here and set eyes on what the Brook Road looks like of the current federal staff. And so we thought, what's the most effective way to push back? And so we've crafted a letter here to Governor Scott. We thanked, and I thank Josh and Karen Hatcher for doing some feedback here because they've been meeting with some of the recovery people, Pat Moulton and Doug Farnham, and we thank them for that. But really pointed out that to the governor that what Federal Highways has said is not going to work. We've had washouts going back decades here, and it's always been put back in the same place, and they always wash out again. And so what is the point? This is a waste of our 10% match money that's required on here. And the estimates for, what the replacement there are, that our 10% match would equal our town budget, and so that's ridiculous. And it's a waste of federal taxpayer money to just keep, you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, is just stupid. And so, we wanted to get the governor involved, and figuring by writing to him, he would talk to the Secretary of Transportation. It would trickle down to the folks at municipal. I also mentioned to you, and I sent you the draft of that letter. I think you've seen it. This afternoon, I went into the office when our internet went out, and I've drafted a similar letter addressed jointly to our congressional delegation. Put all three of them on the same letter. Basically, it doesn't ask to meet like we're asking the governor, but it's basically and I put them all on the same letter so that we know that we want them to work together, and that we're addressing the governor with this as well, and that they should push on federal highways from their end. And basically, the meat of that letter to them is the same. It's identical. It just, changes the reference to the governor. So anyway, I would move that we approve these letters, and I think there's a copy in there to sign to the governor. I don't have the copies for, maybe I did, yes, I think there's a copy in there also for the congressional letter.
Yeah, this is a cover, Scott.
So I would move that we send those two letters.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. I will say, my wife Mary followed the instructions of writing to Peter Walsh, and she did last week. And we're going to have a Zoom meeting tomorrow with Rebecca from Peter Welsh's office.
Nice.
To discuss how we feel the town has been abandoned in certain areas. And Brook Road is one. But I have no trouble sending another letter to Peter Welsh as well.
Awesome.
But I think it's important for people to know that these offices are responsive. And so following up that way is really helpful.
And there was a thread started on Plainfield People by Mary Lou Montgomery Wells on this subject. And in there, we got to the point of, writing to Senator Welch, and people said, I think it was Don Fancher asked, well, why Senator Welch? What do you want us to say? And I said, well, let's wait till Monday's select board meeting. We'll do these letters. And I say, it doesn't have to be just Senator Welch. It should be, Bernie and Becca as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, all of their offices, and, we can give them some content as well, so.
Yep. So we have a motion and second, and we should vote. All those in favor of sending these letters as described, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? Okay, well, are these to be signed by
Yes.
all?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah. You want to, if we can start them at this end, we'll
sure, yep.
send them.
I just took off the clip, so you're gonna have to dig through.
Okay. Thank you.
Oops, I think I sent you my agenda.
It's Plainfield Town Hall Agreement, Plainfield Arts
Okay.
Management Agreement.
Plainfield Arts Agreement.
I think I'm missing.
Oh, there it is.
Would you like me to go through this?
Yes, would you? Yeah.
So, in my other hat, I'm the president of the Plainfield Arts, so I'll be recusing myself from this vote. But every year, Plainfield Arts enters into an agreement to manage this building, the Town Hall Opera House, for the town. There's quite a bit of maintenance and looking after things, though bills for maintenance go to the town. Rentals, which have been increasing steadily. I think 2022, we had about, $1,400 worth of rentals, and last year we were close to $4,000 worth of rentals. And I don't know this year's numbers yet, and he's not here. But Keith Swan, who lives nearby, is the person who manages most of that for Plainfield Arts. And so the management agreement basically just allows us to manage based on the town's protocols and procedures, and also allows us to do performances in the space for free, It also shares that we have the carriage barn and parking lot across the street, which is available for folks to park in for town events and things of that nature. And the payment for the services this year, as it has been for the past 3 years, is $5,000. Ideally, in the future, this would be an agreement that we would discuss, because the money goes into the budget that gets approved on town meeting day, and then the contract is supposed to start in July, which would have been 5 months ago. So we've been managing the building for 5 months without a contract. So ideally, like sometime between March and July, this is when this would happen. We've always asked for the money in 2 pieces. That was a request of the town. So we would usually get it 2 times of the year. I don't actually know, and I haven't talked to Josh if two payments actually make sense, but this agreement calls for January 15th and March 15th for these specific payments. And folks got the agreement, and there's literally no changes. I will say we revert all rental fees to the town.
Any questions? Okay, I guess we want to vote on this. You're going to recuse yourself. I probably should recuse myself as well, since I'm on the committee. So all those in favor say aye.
Well, you need a motion and a second.
Oh, we didn't have a motion yet?
No, I can't motion because I'm recusing myself. I will say I'm recusing myself just because I will be signing the agreement for the organization. No money, none of this money goes to me personally or in any way, shape, or form. Technically, I think by our ethics laws of the state, I wouldn't have to recuse myself. I would just have to name this is a problem, and as long as no one else on the board had a problem with it, I could vote. But since I will be putting my signature on the document for the Plainfield Arts, I'm recusing myself.
Okay. Can we have a motion?
I would make a motion that we authorize the select board to sign the management and rental agreement of the Town Hall Opera House for these symbiotic purposes.
Yeah.
I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
No, just that we should probably get this agreement much earlier in the year next year. Like many things.
Like many things.
It all started because of the flood. We were on the right track, and then the flood happened, and we tried to get the select board to approve the agreement in July of '24, and it all got off track after that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? And we have...
Did you abstain?
I abstain, yes.
Yeah, the minutes need to say that.
Yeah. And so it passes with 3 out of 5.
It's our closest vote in a while.
Yeah, really. Okay, we have to talk about the stipulation of accessibility coordinator and appeal authority in grievance response.
I think
Alicia Weiss is
Yeah.
here.
Was there.
Alicia, you there?
I am.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. My dogs have been exemplary for the last hour and a half. They will now go nuts invariably, some corollary of Murphy's Law. Okay, when we last spoke, the question was, would the Plainfield Accessibility Advisory Committee assume on an interim basis the role of ADA coordinator for the first part of the grievance process? And there was some concern voiced by at least one of our members about capacity and what that would involve. We've since met and clarified that this is something we can do. So we are fine with serving again as the ADA coordinator on an interim basis. We do believe that as part of the town's commitment to accessibility and also for reasons to encourage or enable more rapid response, it should eventually be a role assigned to a town employee, as it is in other towns, including other small towns. But for now, we are fine with serving in that capacity. And we also had to discuss that were we unable to satisfactorily uh, resolve a complaint once investigation had indicated that there was in fact an ADA violation, that the select board or designee would serve as the appeals body. So I wasn't clear that you needed it for today's meeting, but I did send you a final draft of the procedure for you guys to sign off on today. Questions? Comments?
Yes, so the fact that your committee can take on the role of investigation and review of the regulations takes it off the town staff, which is appreciated. And I understand that the board would be a final arbitrator if it was needed. So that's my understanding of it. Is there some more work that the town office is going to have to do? It sounded like the town clerk was doing something, and we want to make sure that we're not adding a lot there.
I'm not clear that the town clerk would be doing anything. Someone would need to forward us if something came in by snail mail. Someone would need to alert us to the fact that there was a complaint. We're hoping that for isolated instances of barriers, whether they're in the physical or procedural sense, that people will use that barrier accessibility barrier reporting form, which has been on the website for some time now. And we did in fact get a response to that from one party, but this is for more, thorough allegations of discrimination.
Yeah, so I think it's important that the town clerk's office knows who to send information to if they should get it, calls or letters. Is that clear still, or
Yeah.
can you?
No, we will liaise with the town clerk's office about that. I didn't feel that needed to be in the document. I mean, not everything we do needs to be transparent to the public when it's not of interest or benefit to them. And obviously, we will rely on the office staff to assist us in directing us when appropriate to the appropriate person or office when a complaint is lodged that implies dysfunction in a particular area.
Okay, any other questions?
I think Peter had his hand up.
Oh, Peter, sorry.
Alicia, I noticed that in the draft you sent us, you did change the 15 days to 30 days, et cetera, that we had talked about before.
Yeah, that we had talked about that because 15 days is standard for larger municipalities. We wanted to make sure that we had time to respond, had reasonable time to respond. We're volunteers, we're small, some of us have disabilities of our own, and we just wanted to set reasonable expectations. We also increased the reporting timeline to 60 days, which other towns have done, understanding that sometimes people with disabilities or just with life issues cannot within 30 days lodge a grievance, and we wanted to accommodate those needs as well.
Great, thank you.
I would move that we adopt the grievance procedure under the ADA.
Second? Anyone?
I second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we also need to appoint a committee member. Mitch Pauley?
Right. Mitch is unable to be here this evening. Mitch did attend our last committee meeting on the 3rd of December, and wherein we reviewed the work of the committee, what we've done to date, which was interesting and reinforcing. And we are all enthusiastic about his joining the committee. Mitch has 20 years in the special education area. He's a special educator and administrator at the Maple Hill School. He's a resident of Plainfield, and I think he'll bring good extra energy, knowledge, and also help us remember to include youth with disabilities in our work.
Great.
Yay.
Yay, indeed.
Is there, Alicia, do you remember what term, did we give you a term, like how long?
No, you
serve?
didn't. We were told we were a seat committee and to go forth and do good things, essentially, so.
So we won't give Mitch a term?
I think it's, this is an ongoing question. We have in the annual report what are called annual appointments, which is for a lot of the committees, except there are places where the charter of the committee or state statute, like planning commission, stipulates terms. And so I think this comes under the annual appointments.
Yeah, yeah.
Motion to appoint Mitch Polly to the Accessibility Advisory Committee.
I second it.
Second, moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Welcome, Mitch.
Okay, thank you. That raises a question, though. If these are annual appointments and we began our work in April of last year, does this mean that we need to be reappointed in April 2026 or find replacements, existing members?
No, so typically what happens, Alicia, is right after town meeting day, when the new select board is seated, there'll be a meeting where we just reappoint a bunch of people. And so we'll do that in March. If someone doesn't want to be reappointed, then they wouldn't be, but as long as people want to continue to serve, they would be reappointed at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alicia.
And we have another appointment for Sil Relland. Is it Relland?
It's Relland.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Just a brief comment to talk about the term limit, because we didn't request that specifically, and Peter brought it to my attention, which that we are asking for Sil's, I'm vice chair of the committee, Michael Billingsley, that we are asking that Sil be appointed until after town meeting in March, in other words, until March, because she's filling the seat vacated by Laura Brill. And then after that, if she seeks reappointment, we will ask for that along with the other members of the committee.
Great. Yep.
And Sil is online, I don't know if they want to say anything.
Yeah, Sil, you want to say anything, or?
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I sent a special letter of interest to Carl and Francis Rose, but I would love to be part of the committee. I feel like I would be a new perspective on things, and that's it. Those are my goals.
That's fine. Well, we welcome you and appreciate the work you've done so far, and
thank you.
We will, yeah.
Yay.
Motion to appoint Sil Relland to the Hazard Mitigation Committee.
I second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Thank you, guys.
Welcome. Welcome again.
Motion to appoint Jeremy Matt as auditor to serve until the end of the term, which is March 3rd, 2026.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
He did this last year too.
Yep. Okay. Town treasurer's report.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes.
Do we still need, maybe it's a Josh question, but Brandon, you might know, do we still need a third auditor, or can we do it two?
We want three, but.
Yeah, I am going to be looking for somebody to step in for a town meeting. I don't know the statutory requirements are, they say 3. I haven't gotten a clear answer about if 2 is acceptable. I just want to thank Bob, who was appointed last year with Jeremy, for serving last year. He's not able to serve this year, but just want to thank him for his service, and just to give a little bit of perspective on this. We are having a formal audit by an accounting firm, which is beginning. So we will have a very close eye on town finances. The reason why this becomes sort of an issue is it's very difficult to get people within the town boundaries to serve as auditor. And if we went outside to have somebody do it specifically for the meeting, it would be really expensive. So that's why we go this route to get local people to step up, and hopefully we'll have 3 by town meeting.
Okay,
Great.
thanks for that. Dan?
Motion to approve the minutes of the November 24th, 2025 Plainfield Select Board.
Second it.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And
Motion to approve accounts payable for November 26th, 2025 and payroll for December 4th, 2025.
I second it.
moved and seconded.
This is all I got. Is there?
Look what's in the packet.
Nope, just 2.
I thought there was a third one there.
Well, I mean,
That's
this is
what's
what's
in
on the agenda.
I know.
We can always pick it up on the next. Week.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, announce date for next select board meeting.
Which is next week.
It's 15th, not the 22nd, but the 15th is going to be a special meeting focusing on the budget. And then the 22nd, we'll do the appointments for the committee. Okay. All right. I think that's it.
Motion to adjourn at 7:56 PM.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Carl,
You're better, Josh.
you always require that I give you credit when